Well, good evening and welcome to Sports Talk Rodeo. I'm Charlie McKellips, and say hello to Tex Holiday. Say hello, Tex Holiday.
Hello, Tex Holiday.
I knew you were going to do that. Did you have a good Christmas?
You set me up. I couldn't let you down. That's a slam dunk right there.
I know. I set it up as like an alley-oop. Some good old college basketballs. We're in college basketball season. I haven't followed it at all. Just like any casual fan, I don't follow it till March.
Yes. There you go. That's right. Nothing wrong with that.
Do you have your tank?
Well, how are we doing tonight?
How are we doing tonight?
You know what? I'm empty-handed tonight. I don't have a beverage with me tonight.
Oh, really? I brought my.
I hope I don't get parched.
I got sugar-free A&W, zero sugar A&W root beer here. So that's
looks like that would taste like goat urine.
That's Miller Lite.
Oh, yeah. I'll take your word on that.
Right.
Did you notice I wore a sash tonight for the show?
You did. You did.
Yes.
I did not. Where's the sash?
Right here. It's my sash.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what you call those things? Sashes? Bandanas?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure what that was. I actually got headphones now so I can actually hear you. So that's kind of
I thought you were wearing earmuffs. I thought maybe it was cold in your house.
Well, it is kind of chilly. I got my Christmas sweater that my dad gave me, and that's kind of cool. So I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna share this on your Facebook page again, real quick. So
yeah, let's do this thing. Let's get these viewers primed and ready.
I thought I was going to, but anyways, I'll get to that here in just a second. I'm working on it. There we go. Share to a friend's profile. Facebook isn't wanting to cooperate with me here. And so something I want to mention real quick. I do put these videos all on YouTube, and as you see in the ticker down below, you can go to my YouTube channel tomorrow morning. The videos from the COVID Cowboys here, myself, Tex Holiday, go to the Charlie McKellips YouTube channel, and you can listen to these shows as you please. You can turn on YouTube, you can go on and listen to it, and you can just let it play while you're driving down the road, pair it to your car, and just listen to it just like a good old-fashioned podcast. So I highly recommend it. Be sure to go to YouTube, go like and subscribe to every video on my YouTube channel, because we want to do that. Just like I want you to go sign up for Cowboy Channel Network, the Cowboy Channel Plus app. Go up to YouTube, get on the YouTube and sign in and like and subscribe to this video on YouTube and all the videos, because that way, if you don't watch it live, you can see it on YouTube. So
and that way we know that people are actually care and they want us to keep producing more videos.
And if they don't care, Tex, we're going to keep producing more videos.
That's right. It's a win-win.
It's a win-win deal. It's a win-win deal. I mean, I don't care if anybody watches. I mean, we had almost 800 views last week, so
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, very pleased. And we had several on YouTube as well, right?
Yeah, I think we had a handful.
Okay, yeah.
A handful is a good way of putting it.
That's better than a pinch.
That it is. It's better than a pinch. It's better than a pinch.
Yes.
We had a handful. It wasn't quite a cup.
We'll take a thimble to start off with.
Right. Hey, take what we can get, though. But yes, be sure to go and like and subscribe to the Charlie McKellips YouTube channel, and follow us on YouTube as well. If you don't watch the whole video, you can go to YouTube. You can fast forward through it really easily. You don't have to watch it live. You can tune, and it'll be on Facebook too. So leave that sucker up on Facebook. Go find it later and go through it. Fast forward it. You think you see the part you don't like when we get talking about the subjects. I completely understand. We're not everybody's cup of tea or cup of coffee, whatever you may not like. So,
but I'm a pretty sweet cup of tea, though. I might add that. Okay, two sugar cubes.
Right. Yeah. I'd say Tex Holidays like the gallon jug of Red Diamond sweet tea. So.
Yes, exactly. So if you just go to my Facebook page, the rodeo one there, and hit like, you'll be up to date with a lot of the local rodeos and things going on here. And we're going to keep you informed in the rodeo world. You can't get away from us.
Right. That's it. And that's the thing. You just, and we're just offering opinions here. I mean, I want this show to be more about the people watching than just us. I mean, we're just we're just the messenger. And as Singing Dove says, you're everybody's cup of tang.
Hey, I like that. I like that, and it's a nice hefty cup of Tang.
Yes,
So
yes. I mean, hefty cup of tang
who
for sure.
doesn't like Tang, Charlie?
Yeah, I mean, hey, like I said, it's good enough for the space station. It's good enough for me.
I think so. I'll take two, please.
Right, that's right. So have you had a good Christmas, Tex?
I had a great Christmas. You know, despite COVID-19 and some of the changes that it brought to our family, we really did have a nice Christmas. Looking forward to 2021, where hopefully we can get back to a normal state of affairs. But overall, you know, right now being alive is probably one of the greatest gifts, you know, that we can have. And
Right,
having family and friends with us, you know, we need that more now than ever. And I think anyone who had an opportunity to spend some time with some family, hopefully over this last week for Christmas, you know, it kind of puts things in perspective for us. And you know, I'm very grateful for once again just having the life that I have and being healthy, and hopefully that'll continue. Thankful for my family and friends, and
right.
you bet, man. It's been an interesting and grueling year for us all. And
It's been
wow,
it's been difficult. It's been tough. I've had. It's funny. It's I everybody. I had a lot of people ask me, "Well, how was your Christmas?" I said it was quiet, and that's the
mhm,
best way of putting it. It was quiet. I didn't get to go to Thanksgiving dinner.
yeah,
We didn't really have much of a Thanksgiving dinner because my grandpa got sick, and then I was a little under the weather, and I think a lot of that had to do. Actually, we wasn't sure what it had to do with, but we think it had to do with outside circumstances. I'm not going to go into that. You can go back and look at my Facebook page this last week to figure that out. But
yeah,
what I think it was. But anyways, around Thanksgiving, we were all kind of a little bit under the weather. We had some stuff going on, and I didn't have much of a Thanksgiving, which is actually my favorite holiday. I like Thanksgiving better than Christmas myself, and I know I sound like a Grinch, but anyhow, but this so Christmas we got to have a little dinner. I went to both my mom's families and my dad's families, and got to see a lot of people. Went to Kansas City today, see Sandy and everything, and everything's good. I mean, it was a good Christmas weekend. I can't complain. And all like you said, all things considered, we're getting through it. It's going to be okay. My biggest thing is people need to worry about what they can control. That's all we can worry about, and that's all what we can do. And
you bet.
take care of ourselves. Don't be stupid. That's the main thing.
Yeah, you know, and it kind of boils down to that. You know, we focus on what we can control versus what we can't. You know, but then we got that next circle outside of that smaller control circle, that circle of influence, and you know, other
Right.
people influence in so many ways. Social media,
Yes.
the media in general. You know, and what kind of
Yeah.
influence are you going to be on other people? Because our bigger circle is the one of concern. You know,
Right.
but then we have
Right.
some power and control to really influence people in a positive way. And you know,
Right.
right now we had to do things different, like you said, a quiet Christmas. It's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just temporary, guys. It's just temporary. This whole
Yeah.
situation's been around for several months, but
Yeah.
it's gradually getting better, I think, from
It
the
is.
inside out. And
Yeah.
2021 is going to be a totally different year for us, and I can't wait. You know, and for us to be on here today, you know, being able to talk about rodeo, be able to talk about some things to get people's minds off of COVID-19, because that
Well,
fog has been around since February or March, and what a breath of fresh air to have some new material to talk about and things to get us kind of looking forward to the future.
well, I can tell you right now, I love fresh air. So, I mean, I cherish fresh air more than anything. So,
Yeah.
and, Laura Sharp chimed in, and she mentioned, we did a little sleigh ride up in Raymore last weekend, and she
Yeah.
said it was fun, and that's right, it was very fun, and we had a good time up there, and all, and it's just it's all outside, and people could kind of keep their distance and be
Yeah.
careful and everything and do what they're comfortable with, and
Yeah.
that's the best thing to do. But anyways, but yeah, like you said, 21's coming. I think, like I said, this show's about rodeo, and it's talk. See, when I say it's sports talk rodeo, it's like sports talk radio, but it's sports. We talk a little sports. We talk
Mhm.
about talk stuff, and it's rodeo, so we kind of combine it all together. So,
Absolutely.
I guess that's what I'm getting at here, though. But right now, um, But yeah, I think just in general, looking ahead, and I think next week we'll probably get a little bit into more of the what we got to expect in 2021. Being that it'll be the first show of the new year, we'll kind of give our 21 predictions, I guess.
Yeah.
I just thought of that right now off the cuff, so forgive
Yeah.
me. I'm just throwing crap out.
I'll just keep catching it.
Keep catching it. That's what you do. That's what you do. It's kind of like when we work a rodeo together. We just kind of wing it.
Off the cuff. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I'm kind of joking. Anyways, I guess what I'm getting at is I just I think a lot of rodeos are going to come back next year. I know the spring rodeos that are indoors in the big facilities in the big cities, they're probably not, but I do believe we're gonna be in pretty good shape. Hey, and look who just chimed in. It is the one and only Anthony from Adrian. Actually, is watching the show tonight.
Oh wow, man!
Anthony from Adrian watching the show. I'm sure we're gonna get some very interesting insights from Anthony from Adrian here over this show and many more to come. So stay tuned there.
It's probably a good thing he's typing and not calling in. He's probably out of breath from jumping on that trampoline I heard that they had down in Adrian now.
He got a
trampoline. Big deal.
Yes, he got a
trampoline. Big deal.
That is pretty cool. That is pretty
Absolutely.
Cool. So
he might start his own trampoline park now in his backyard.
Yeah. Maybe he could do like them backyard wrestling contests. And,
yep.
Since we don't have really many big rodeos to talk about this spring, and actually there is a rodeo I believe next week, and I think the Texas Circuit Finals rodeo is next week. So
yeah, it is, and I think it's going to be broadcast on the Cowboy Channel, Charlie.
Yes, I believe it will be too. So be sure to check your local listings or check the Cowboy Channel listings. I just wanted to sound official there for a minute. And
yeah, too bad they won't give us like a free T-shirt or something for giving them some props.
Right. If anybody, I know people on here that I'm friends with on Facebook tune into this deal probably just because they want to make fun of me and behind my back, and I'm kidding there. I know they're, I mean, I'm just kind of joking. But anyways, yeah. Hey, Cowboy Channel, you're out there. We're here. We're giving you content. We're, just saying, love Justin McKee. He's cool. But, just saying, Tex and I, we're right here in the house. Literally, I'm in my house. Tex is in his house. We're in the house.
Me too. Yep.
So anyhow, but yeah.
Well, you're in a house. I'm in a single wide trailer, but hey, that's okay. That's what's on the point.
Technically, I am in a single wide trailer, so that's what's pretty cool too. I'm in the single wide here. I'm in the Good Time Studios.
That's great.
Yeah, even got my band in the background. Everything right here in the Good Time Studios. So as I mentioned here, in my little preview that I put up this week, I was going to talk about tonight, how does rodeo compare to other sports? Because that's kind of what we got into last week, was about pro rodeo and, people getting ready to listen to it, get ready to keep up with it and looking into it and everything. And, we kind of got talking about it a little last week, and I kind of wanted to continue on to it a little bit more this week, just because, like I said, it's a sport. It got mainstream attention for this last week. And a couple weeks ago, and right now we're in the off season. It's funny. Rodeos, the off season of rodeo is like 2 weeks. It's between the NFR and New Year's. And once New Year's comes, look out, there starts to be stuff going again. And then from January on, there's rodeos all the way into December. So, we're in the 2 week off season of rodeo right now. I'm sure there's jackpots and stuff going on and everything. But yeah, sorry, this dang wire. I'm gonna have to get these headphones figured out. So what do you think, Tex, about comparing rodeo to other sports? I think it's rather unique. It's like you said, the contestants are a little bit more in touch with the fans that come and watch them. It is a little bit different. It's a little bit different ball game. If there was another sport you would compare it to, what would you compare it to? I guess is what I'm getting at.
Oh man, that's a tough one there, because I think that, like, if we consider professional sports, I don't know another professional sport, in my opinion, where you could get this up close and personal to the athletes themselves. You look at a sport like golf, for instance, and they get a lot of TV time. There's not a ton of professional golfers, not as many athletes like an NBA or the NFL or MLB. But you can't go talk to Tiger Woods. There's no way we can get on the course and talk to him and his son. You know, I mean, and I'm not saying you can get out in the middle of the rodeo arena, but if you hang out, I mean, there's a lot of these guys that come visit their families, and you might be sitting next to their wife or their mom or their dad sitting in the stands. I had a guy the other day. He was sitting pretty close to Lane Frost's mom and dad down at the NFR, and he got his picture taken with them. And what a nice couple, you know. So I think when it comes to comparing, it's definitely at a lesser scale when it comes to maybe the expectations and the hype. And that's not, to me, always a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. It's kind of that good old boy, down home country personality that we all love about this sport. It's not a snobby sport. Now, people will argue that maybe, but when you look at like Major League Baseball, you look at the NFL, there's a pretty big difference in personality and the way things go.
And I agree with that. I do believe there's a little bit different personality, and there is kind of, I mean, but yeah, I think there is that kind of trying to think of the right word to put it as. It's personal. I think it's very personal. People are passionate about it. I mean,
absolutely.
And similar to the major. I mean, I don't think we have the diehard fans. You know, like we do. You know, like you do a Chiefs game. I mean, you don't see people completely, you know, painting up like rodeo clowns all the time, like they do at the Chiefs game. Like the people put body paint on and put their favorite rodeo contestant's name on their belly. You know, we don't have that necessarily, but yeah, I do. I mean, but yeah, I think you, like you said, you got that intrapersonal feel. You know, I always myself kind of compared it more to NASCAR, because I mean, it seemed like to me the NASCAR drivers are have a pretty good relationship with their fan base for the most part. I think it kind of changed a little bit more than you know this last year, I guess, is what I'm getting at with what happened earlier in the year with NASCAR. I think that's kind of water under the bridge, you know. And I see we're getting some comments in here right now, like Scuba Steve. He mentions, you know, rodeo period, rather local or pro. They put it all on the line, unlike pro football, basketball, baseball players. They stub a toe. Coach, I can't play. You know, I agree, but I disagree there. Just my thought about it real quick. You know, I think it's unfair to them guys to say that they don't give it their all. I mean, you know, how many times you see guys, you know, going out there and, you know, playing football with broken ribs or fractured ribs, and you know, I mean, no, I think there's some guys that take plays off. I mean, and I think too that they can, you know, I don't know. I mean, I agree. I do think they put it all on the line because, like, if you don't win, you don't get paid. But at the same time, I think in other pro sports as well, I mean, if you don't do good, you're out. I mean, other than baseball. And
well, I think, you know, I want to go with Scuba Steve on this. I mean, for the simple fact that when I'm hauling to a rodeo and I've got, you know, my horses in the back, I'm paying for my gas. You know, unless I've got some big time sponsor. So when I go and I pay for my gas, but I'm getting 7 to 10 miles a gallon with my big pick 'em up truck, I get there, I got to pay for my entry fee, and I've got one chance. That's it. One chance. I can't go, you know, second and 5 and then go to third and 5 to get that first down. I got one opportunity. So I got to stay focused and I got to hit it now. So I get what Scuba Steve's talking about here. And Scoobs, I'm with you on, you know, you got to go balls out. I mean, that's all there is. You get one chance in rodeo, and then you got to go tomorrow, drive 8 more hours to get to the next place. You know, and there's like that wear and tear. Like these guys on NFR, they've traveled all over God's green earth all summer, all winter long, and then they're tired and they got to go compete for 10 days in a row. So I mean, with a baseball player, you take like a Mike Trout, for instance. Yeah, what's he making? $133,000 like an at bat on average.
I mean, look at Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes. So if he makes an incomplete pass, not a big deal.
No.
He doesn't have to go drive 8 hours on a trailer, you know, to the next state.
Yes. And to me, that's the big difference. You know, and like, you know, Anthony from Adrian, he says, you know, rodeo, and it's like, just like Anthony said, if they don't perform, they're not paid. So they do have to work harder. And, you know, and that's the other thing too. And Scuba Steve and Bobby Bradley's tuning in, you know, two normal, we surely thank, you know, our normal regular viewers here, and Scuba Steve and Bobby Bradley and Singing Dove and Anthony from Adrian, Laura Sharp. Again, we thank you all for tuning in. The thing about it is too is it's like monster truck drivers, dirt track racing. You know, they got huge followings in those areas, and they mention it all the time. It's like they mention it all the time. They're the same way. They go up and down the road. They make very little money. The big guys make a lot of money than the rest of them. Yeah, you might, you take amateur rodeos like, what we mainly do and everything, they might make the $400-500 a night at a rodeo if they win, and they may win one rodeo weekend, so that's okay for an extra deal, but it's not going, it's not the PGA where they go win $1 million at a tournament. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, what are these guys winning too? These men and women go to these rodeos. They're not winning $1 million on a weekend.
Right.
Right. I mean, the majority of them are coming up empty-handed. So, I mean,
Yeah.
the percentage of actually winning and getting that reimbursement back on your entry fee and your gas,
Right.
yeah, it's a gamble, man. It's a gamble.
Incentive, and Jeff Lucas brought up a good one here tonight, and I got to say, I never even thought about this, and I've actually made jokes about myself when I decided I wasn't ever going to be a very good rodeo athlete, which there's a reason I'm a rodeo announcer, not a bulldogger. But anyhow, professional bass fishing, that's another one that there's a lot of money in it. It's very very, very big, and and that's a good comparison. The intensity of season again relates to MLB with the 100 game seasons, and they do travel just as much as anything else. And that's something right there, that that's a good comparison. Major League Baseball with the travel. I mean, them guys are always on the road, and you have a lot of experience with baseball. And
but the thing, like with baseball, though, those guys are flying, or they might take a charter bus if they're in the lower league and it's not a far trip. You're hauling a horse trailer of four horses in the back.
Yeah.
And you got your own groceries back there. You're not getting a per diem every day.
Right.
You don't have clubbies who are getting your uniform and your equipment rounded up. We got guys packing in duffel bags, suitcases. We got guys sleeping in the back of minivans.
Right. I mean,
with the cars running.
The top guys, they got people, that help them and everything. They do have people that drive and help take care of horses and things like that. But I mean, so I mean, it's definitely a lot. I mean, I don't know. I'd say pro rodeo is probably compared more to minor league baseball to a point than really than pro baseball. It's minor league baseball, still professional technically. They're still getting paid to do it. So and Scuba Steve, he's chiming in and he says, how many other sport athletes you see go to one rodeo, get points, and haul to the next one, and they run slack for they may run in the slack. They'll drive all night to get slack 7 in the morning. And pro rodeos do morning slack. So a lot of the times there too, I mean, it's definitely, it's a grind. And I'll say this just as an announcer wise, I think the season's I think the rodeo season's definitely a grind. I don't care if you're in the contract personnel, the contestants, everything else. It's a season. It'll take a toll on you, and everything. I mean, and these contestants, they go hard, and they've always gone. Singing Dove, she takes this whole thing, the whole family to an event without having to take out a loan. I mean, that's true. I mean, rodeo's affordable, and that's a really cool. That's a cool thing about it too. It's not. I mean, you go to your bigger rodeos. I think that deal at Kansas City we went to with the WCRA, I think I think it costs like $50 a ticket or something. Something like that. So, I mean, your big shows are going to cost something still, but no, I mean, it's an easy way to, and again, you can go to the Cowboy Channel. You subscribe to Cowboy Channel Plus app. It's $10 a month. You get to see you get to see almost rodeos all the time now. So, and it's like Bobby Bradley said, dirt track racers. And I think dirt track racing is a very good comparison to rodeo. As they ran 4 races at 4 different tracks and a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday show. Winner takes all the end of Sunday. I mean, they go at it. They do go at it.
Yeah.
I mean, and they have followings. It's like tractor pulls too. I mean, I actually went to my first tractor pull at the Vernon County Fairgrounds this summer. And that was the first time I ever actually went and watched a tractor pull myself, and it's like them guys, they all got done. They went to Butler the next morning, and I think they were pulling until 2 in the morning. So, um,
Yeah.
rodeo is a niche. It's like I said, like Jeff Lucas said, it's a niche, but
Mhm.
I mean, we're getting more mainstream, and as things go on, we're going to see probably. I think some of these contestants are going to get a little bit harder to access. I mean, I hate to say that, but I think it's reality of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think we're going to see more of a. I think we're going to see more of a transformation eventually one day into the golf world, the NASCAR world. Maybe not quite that big, but I mean, it's going to be. I think eventually, as more it gets on TV, the more it's going to be. And because it's not a team sport, and that's something that always bugs me about it. Is people say, well, look at baseball players. First of all, baseball and football players and basketball players, they bring in tons, millions and millions of dollars in TV revenue. Rodeo don't do that yet. And
Mhm.
that's why I keep stressing, support the Cowboy Channel, support RFD, support Ride TV and Ride Pass, all these multimedia outlets that help support. Watch the PBR and CBS Sports Network. I mean, anything you can do to support it, you got to get. That's what they look at. It's television and now streaming. That's
Mhm.
the things that we're looking at. And you want to see these rodeo athletes get paid. Well, that's probably the best way to do it, is be sure to support it. Just to support support it on our wherever you can watch it, and go buy tickets. Support their sponsors, and support the big rodeos and the little rodeos. I think there was 5 or 6 different NFR contestants that entered URA rodeos over the last few years that were at the national finals, and that's mainly out of Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas, and Iowa. I mean, the guys that have all entered URA rodeos, were at the national finals rodeo, and that's what's pretty cool about it. And that's one of the things I always kind of compared it to NASCAR is you get a lot of guys that that run NASCAR, they go run dirt tracks, and that's
Mhm.
the kind of thing. And like Bobby said, dirt track racing and Munster trucks. I mean, them guys, they go do it because they love it, and that's a lot of it. So
Yeah. Well, I think too, like with our rodeo, here in the Missouri, Kansas area, Nebraska, Arkansas, there's a lot, Oklahoma, down Texas. There's a lot of rodeos kind of at that amateur level, if you call it that,
yeah,
all the way up to the PRCA. So, and you've got different types of associations. There's a lot of opportunities. And how many people, I'd be curious, how many people have went to a rodeo and didn't have a good time? Did
right,
not find something pleasurable about being outside. Of course, if
yeah,
the weather was decent, we all know that sometimes that has a factor. But if the
exactly,
weather's good and you show up to a rodeo, you pay your $6. It's affordable, like Singing Dove said, for everyone to get in. And then you've got 2, maybe 3 hours of entertainment. And if you stick around for slack, you might not leave till 1 or 2 in the morning.
right.
So you factor that down for a $6 admission ticket, you've got your money's worth for sure.
And that's something I always try to talk about Kansas City. I go on radio and try to talk about, on a couple different deals in Kansas City, and we talk about the New Year's rodeo. And I always try to tell people, it's like, okay, yeah, that ticket's $15, but
Mhm.
it's if you go to the New Year's Stampede rodeo, which we're not doing it due to obvious reasons with everything going on, mainly Mayor Lucas in Kansas City. I won't get on my soapbox, but but anyways, um, it's like Kansas. You take Kansas City, for example, the New Year's rodeo. They get, I think we get 420, 430 entries. And we get a lot of people from the, that enter PRCA rodeos there, because there's really not much going on over New Year's. And the thing of it is, and people say, man, you charge $15 to get in. Yes, we charge $15 per person to get in. But I will tell you, you get in for the whole day. You can come in at 9 o'clock in the morning whenever the slack starts. You can come in, you get your armband, you get to watch. You can watch any of the timed events you want. Watch, if you want to watch a team rope and then come back and watch the rest of the rodeo that night. You can go do that. I mean, it gets you the whole day. It's like for the Uber rodeo fan. I mean, it's like one of the few non-pro rodeos that's going to get you. You're going to watch 30 head of horses buck in one night, and
Yeah.
no, it's not going to be an hour and a half show. 2 hour show. It is for the Uber rodeo fan that wants to see people, get on bucking horses and run steers and everything. And it's an all day event. I mean, it's kind
Mhm.
of like a golf tournament in a way, because you take a
Yeah.
golf tournament. I mean, those things are all day. I mean, they're not just a short run deal. And in a way, like I said, it's just, I think that's what kind of makes it kind of neat. You can watch as much of it or as little of it as possible a lot of times.
Yep.
And I think that's something that makes it pretty cool. And I hope rodeo doesn't lose that. I mean, I want to see rodeo cowboys make millions of dollars. So
Correct.
uh
And I think Kansas City has missed the boat when it comes to the rodeo. I mean, here we are, Cowtown, and they didn't profit off of that. You had the
right.
stockyards down there by the old Kemper Arena. You could have made that into something special. And then now we look at like the New Year's Stampede. Once again, it's one of the best rodeos in the Midwest. Like you said, if you love rodeo, you can get a full day's worth of rodeo for $15.
$15.
Where else can you go and watch 30 horses buck out on a night?
Right.
There's
Right.
not a rodeo in this 4-state area that bucks 30 to 40 horses a night,
Not
let alone bulls too.
not consistently every year.
Not consistently.
There was some this year
We
that
look
did
at the rough.
because there wasn't anything else going on. But no, and that's all I'm getting at is it's like, man, that's kind of cool thing about the sport. You got some rodeos like that. Then if you want to see like a full blown out pyro and production everything, go to the American Royal Rodeo and you can see a really good production there and get to
Yes.
see a lot of the top. All the top guys go to that one. Top cowboys and
Yep.
cowgirls. Which I'm gonna get into cowgirls later on. But
I think, Charlie, too, kind of going with this is that if we get the youth out there and we get people supporting a lot of the local smaller rodeos,
right,
they're going to, in return, have a great time and want to go to Hale Arena for the New Year's Eve Stampede.
right.
They're going to want to stick around for the American Royal and the PRCA. They're going to want to watch things on the Cowboy Channel
Yes,
because they're going to see these people right up close and personal, maybe even shake a person's hand that just got done performing on television they saw the week before, and now they're hooked. I mean, they're hooked. And who doesn't love the animals? I mean, the contestants. It's just a family thing. It's great all the way around.
it is. It's cool, and that's what makes it pretty neat. And like I said, it's kind of like I said, it's the individual sport, but a lot of guys work together. And I'm going to kind of transition this to now, so as we talk about that, and it's family and rodeo, and this
Yeah.
is the other cool thing about it. It's a Hank Williams Jr. song says it's a family tradition a lot of
Yeah.
times. And that's the other thing that makes it pretty cool. I mean, look at Tough Cooper, who's won the world
Mhm.
multiple times, all around titles, tie down roping championships. His dad, Roy Cooper, is a super looper. He was, it's in his blood. I mean, my family rodeo, 4 generations all rodeoed, cousins, my dad, my uncle, I tried, and, and everything. So that's what makes it pretty cool. And I think that's kind of what makes it sets rodeo apart a little bit too, is the family aspect of it. We try to keep it family friendly. Most everyone tries to keep it family friendly. Anthony from Adrian, he says, he brought up, look at the Wright family. I mean, that one year, I think they had 6 different family members in the saddle bronc ride, or 6 or 7. They had half of the saddle bronc riding filled out at the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo in Vegas a couple years ago. I think it's 17 or 18. I mean, it was half of them were from Utah. So, but and that's what's pretty cool about it. Singing Dove's asking me real quick, can I introduce someone to JB Mooney? Actually, I do not know JB Mooney. So I don't have those connections at all. So I'm not there.
Well, here's the thing though, Charlie. One of the last PRs when they were in Kansas City, I actually got an autograph from JB Mooney and an up close handshake, So you can do that stuff. It's just kind of about the timing, So there wasn't thousands of people flocking down there. And here's the thing too, the NFL, these collectors are the ones who are ruining it for the fans and for the kids, because they'll go get a Patrick Mahomes autograph and then turn around and put it on Facebook Marketplace and try to sell it for $500.
Well, and that's
what ruins it for some of the bigger sports, like with rodeo. You're interested in JB Mooney, pretty good dude from what I hear. He's a great bull rider, so he's one of the legends. So you stick around after the rodeo, he comes around, signs autographs, and might be able to introduce himself, and away we go.
Yeah, and that's what's pretty cool about it. I mean, but no, and like I said, the whole family and rodeo thing, it's something that it's generational. it's
Yeah.
passed on, and I think that's something else that makes it really unique. And I tell you what got me thinking about it was watching Tiger Woods and Charlie Woods last week at that,
Hmm.
father son golf tournament, and I thought,
Yeah.
that's a lot like rodeo. I'm seeing a lot of my friends now. And I don't have kids, but I see a lot of my friends. They're starting to haul their kids to these youth rodeos and these high school rodeos, and I'm like, man, I remember rodeoing with them. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it gets passed on, and and I think that's the other thing that makes it really unique, is the fact that it does get moved on, and
Hmm.
to each generation, and it's not pushy. I mean, I think some of the parents are, but I think for the most part, most parents are pretty good about it. And I think there's more options now than ever as far as high school and junior high rodeo go, that give kids an opportunity to go compete in real live competition, really, which is really good. So, and like the amateur rodeos, they give a lot of chances for people to take their families along and compete together. I mean, I know I can. There's a bunch bunch of these families that go to these URA rodeos around here in Missouri and Kansas. I mean, that's there's three generations competing at some of these deals. So,
Yeah.
four generations at some point. I mean, sometimes. So that's what's really neat. I mean, to see it just gets passed on, and then usually they get a couple friends involved in it. Next thing you know, I mean, you're getting contestants. So
Yeah.
that's what to me, family and rodeo, I think they go hand in hand. And
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it good, and gives something people to watch for.
And I think too, Charlie, that with the family with the rodeo, it's easier for you if you had a child to be willing to go buy, a $5,000 horse for your kid because
Right.
you're going to see a different value in it compared to another parent who's not been in the rodeo or the horse world,
Right.
for instance.
Right.
Because they're looking at how much money this is going to cost, and we're not getting a return. It's not
Yeah.
like a feeder cow. So I think that rodeo kind of the numbers went down for a little bit, I would think, because it seemed like the popularity locally, because
Mhm.
things got expensive during that recession. So
Right.
people were selling off their horses. I remember being able to buy a well broke horse for $200 to $400. It was insane.
Yeah.
Numbers went back up now, but there
Right.
for a while it bottomed out.
Yeah.
So
The horses, yeah, to buy even just a riding horse now. And that's the downside to rodeo. The thing about it is rodeo is, um, stuff's expensive. Stuff is expensive. Scuba Steve's wanting to be a guest announcer with me at a rodeo. Um,
hey, sign him up. Let's do this thing.
I'd have to talk to the powers
Make
that
sure
be.
it's a night that I'm working. Okay, I want to see
Right,
this
right.
happen.
Mhm. Scuba Steve, you might get
I'll
to
give him
be.
a Shasta.
Yeah, Scuba Steve might get. He could probably be Texas sidekick.
Yeah, that'll work. He can man
Right.
the barrel for me.
And speaking of family, it's like Anthony from Adrian. He says, it's like family. He sends his kid off every weekend to make him learn how to work. So rodeo teaches work ethic too. I mean, that's a pretty cool thing about it. And that's the cool thing. I mean, I think it does give these kids that are coming up through the game a chance to learn how to get into good habits,
Mhm.
and as far as working at things, and and learn how to achieve goals, and learning good life skills. I think that's the other cool thing about rodeo that people tend to lose track of sometimes. I hate to say that, but I mean that with all due
Yeah.
respect. um
Well, I don't
but
think anybody has any idea, Charlie, what goes into putting on a performance, anywhere. You
right.
know, contractors are out there. It's not just we come set up in 2 hours, then go out to dinner and come back and the performance takes
and,
place.
and it's
You
not
know,
even that. I mean, just on the production side, but I mean, I'm talking about like contestants wise. I mean, these people
yeah,
just don't go get on a horse and back in there and try to go tie a calf down. They
no,
practice every day, and
yeah,
it takes discipline. And
hmm,
I mean, go follow Tyson Durfee. He's got some cool videos on YouTube. And it's he works on he's got a game plan every time. And
hmm,
I've said before, I'm a big fan of following people who are successful in anything,
hmm,
and they treat it just like a job. and that's the cool thing about it is, I mean, you do have to work at it. You're not going to go get on a bull and just be JB Mooney. You're gonna have to. There's to it.
No.
And you start at a young age and you work at it, and it makes a big difference. And you make sure you get on the right stock where you can learn. And I think that's where the family aspect comes in at. We
Yeah.
are one big family. As in general, I feel like the rodeo world is a rodeo family, and that's
Mhm.
something that's pretty cool about it. And that's just, like I said, I kind of thought about this tonight, or earlier this week when we talked about doing the show for episode 2. I just figured it kind of goes in good with Christmas and family. So that's kind of what I was getting at.
Absolutely.
And
Well, too, what mom says, oh man, I hope my 14, 15-year-old goes and jumps on a bull.
right.
Yeah, I'll be happy to pay the $50 entry fee for that one.
They would rather
You
go buy
know,
a $1,000 roping horse usually. No.
yeah. But when it's in your family bloodline, though, you don't think anything of it. You're going to get hurt. That's part of it, and those parents are out there screaming and yelling and cheering their kid on.
Yeah, and
So
that's a cool thing. So it's like I said, keep track of go to your state high school website, high school rodeo websites, Kansas, Missouri. I mean, wherever you're at, like we're in the Midwest. I mean, but heck, if you're in Texas, go find your junior rodeos and find out where they're at and go follow them. I mean, because you're going to see a lot of future superstars come up through there, and I'm telling you, it's just that's what makes rodeo pretty neat. Again, it's accessible and probably a little bit easier to follow these younger contestants as they're coming up through the ranks. It's probably a little easier to follow them than, I mean, I don't know who the 30th best prospect in baseball is, but
yeah.
what I'm saying, it's kind of one of them deals. I mean, but I kind of know who the pretty good prospects in calf roping are, or tie down roping, I should say, and Missouri and Kansas and everything. And but it's not cheap. I mean, like if you got a child that wants to get in rodeo, I mean, it's not cheap. Anthony says, after seeing prices of bronc riding equipment, it makes him more scared than watching his boy ride. So it's you got bronc saddles, they're $1,000 to $2,000. So I mean, it's not cheap to get into, but but that's part of it. I mean, and that's
you need some good quality equipment too. You can't get this shanky equipment out there and hope to perform well. That's the sad thing is you need good quality equipment to give you the best fighting chance to perform at your optimal level.
Right.
Just gotta get out there and mow those lawns and shovel some snow, man. Any extra cash you can get.
Right. That's true. That's it. And that's part of it. I mean, so as we're moving on, we talk about family, and we're incorporating more and more people into the sport of rodeo. The other thing I want to talk about tonight is the evolution of women's breakaway roping. And that's this is something I think it's been coming for a long time. That I felt like has not got a fair shot, I think, in pro rodeo. I think people looked at it as a long time as an amateur rodeo event, which it was, but everything got to start out in an amateur. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, team roping wasn't at all the pro rodeos either. So, and I think that's something I want to get talking about tonight, as well as the evolution of women's breakaway roping and what that does to spread the word of rodeo and spread the footprint of, prospective fans that want to, that want to tune into rodeo. I mean, not all girls should want to be barrel racing fans. And I mean, I think it's cool if they are. I mean, I know so many people that, love Fallon Taylor, for example, and Lisa Lockhart, they all, and all these, these top barrel racers, but barrel racing is not the only event that the women compete in. And I think now we're finally starting to see breakaway roping actually become a big deal. And with Jackie Crawford winning the national finals breakaway roping world title this last couple weeks ago at the Wrangler National Finals, I think it's finally getting to see that breakaway roping deserves to be right up there with all these other big events. And I know there's a lot goes into it. We can't just add breakaway roping to all 10 nights of the national finals rodeo. I understand that because there are contractual obligations, and it would have to involve some paperwork and stuff. But I'm gonna tell you right now, breakaway roping needs to be offered at all 10 rounds of the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, and it needs to be at majority of the pro rodeos. It needs to be there. It's not fair to these ladies who are elite rodeo athletes.
Mm-hmm. I fully agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more, Charlie. I mean, who doesn't love watching the breakaway roping? I mean, these women are, like you said, they're superior athletes, and they are good at what they do. You know, when that the WCRA came to Kansas City earlier this year, oh my gosh, but the record times that were being thrown out there. I mean,
Right.
you see that barrier, and boom, next thing you know, that thing's around the calf's neck. I mean, it's exciting. I love how fast paced it is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those where I'm not waiting for nothing against calf roping at all. So I don't want any
Right.
calf ropers to be upset with me.
Right.
But you get that calf and boom, it pops off, out the calf goes, out the horse goes. You're in the next person just like that. It's boom, boom, boom. So you get kind of that best of both worlds. You get the speed of the barrel racing, but you also get the technique of the calf roping. I love it.
And and this is the thing that I look at as far as breakaway roping. You're expanding your fan base. And when you're trying to get people to tune into the Cowboy Channel app, Ride TV, Ride Pass,
Mm-hmm.
CBS Sports Network, whether it's WCRA events, I think the more people you can get to watch, the better. The more people you get to watch, the more people you get competing. And
yep.
and that's really how I see it is. I mean, and now Rusty Patterson, he's asking why aren't girls team roping? And, they do team rope. I mean, but nobody's saying they can't team rope. So I know some girls that are really good team ropers. So these girls can spin twine, and that's cool. And I mean, but I think it's just for the longevity of the sport. It surely doesn't hurt anything at all to have breakaway roping, and any of the higher powers that be. I'm telling you, they need to. They need to get on the wagon with breakaway roping. I've been preaching it for years that breakaway roping, like I said, needs to be featured at Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. Is really cool what they did in Arlington this year, but it needs to be all 10 nights, and it's just it's here, it's here, and it should.
I think it's disrespectful not to.
No, I do
think,
too.
Charlie.
I think so
I mean,
too.
I think it's disrespectful.
I mean, someone, these girls, these ladies, they need to be. I shouldn't say girls. These are women, and in this day and age, 2020, it's and I mean, we got really world class barrel racers, and there should be world class breakaway ropers featured on rodeo's biggest stages now. And I'm glad we're starting to see that. And like I said, I think in the next, I've said 10 years ago, I said in 10 years, breakaway roping will be featured at National Finals Rodeo, and I really believe we're getting there. So
and I'm with Rusty. I'm okay with the team roping too. I wish that was a thing. I wish that the women's had their own group for team roping. I don't know if right now it just doesn't seem as sexy as like the breakaway roping. I don't know, but I'm all for that. There's no reason we shouldn't. And as a fan, why wouldn't you want to get extra money? Your money's worth out of watching an extra event or two.
Yeah.
So these women are. They're once again, I think Bobby Bradley said if you can spin a rope, that's not easy to do. Anyone who's tried roping off a horse, they know it's not easy. And these women are lightning fast, and it's fun to watch. I love it.
It is. It's a good time, and like I said, it's just all it does is expand the footprint in the game. You're getting more, like I said, the more views, the more people buying tickets, the more interest you get, the more money that's getting brought into it, the more sponsors you're going to get, the more TV time you're going to get.
And I think, Charlie, too, going from a youth standpoint, how many times have you been to a rodeo and you see a little girl who's dressed up in her cowboy gear, cowgirl gear? She's got her hat on, she's got her shirt on, and then someone says, "Do you want to be a barrel racer when you grow up?" Well, why can't we say, "Do you want to be a calf roper? Do you want to be a breakaway roper?" I mean, it's automatically assumed because she's a girl that she's going to be a barrel racer. And I think it's great that the barrel racers have that support, but I don't see anything wrong with girls wanting to rope,
No.
And it's like, why can't we even that playing field and let girls know while they're growing up, you can do something else in rodeo besides round barrels, and once again, hats off to the barrel racers. I love barrel racing too, but it's like leave those opportunities open for our youth, for the ladies growing up, for the grown women to participate in rodeo in multiple events. Yes,
Exactly.
it's time that we make some changes so that way they have an extra event or two to participate in.
And it's, you know, it's proactive to pro rodeo to include it in. And like I said, you know, and I think that's kind of the cool thing about amateur rodeo. I think gives amateur rodeo. I think amateur rodeo is giving it. I'm 25. You know, you figure there's good 35 years worth of breakaway roping. It's been going on for a long time, and that I think that's what makes it pretty darn cool. You know, that these cowgirls now are getting the chance to go in and make a name for themselves, and like I said, make a name for make a name for the sport. And like I said, give a lot more, you know, give more to look forward to for the girls that are wanting to get into it. And you know, like I said, the more the merrier is what I'm saying. And
Absolutely.
and that's to me, that's the biggest. To me, that's a big deal. It's not just a little deal; it's a big deal.
You know, Kevin chimed in there. He wrote on there, you know, he's seen a lot of women who can ride rough stock better than a lot of the guys. You know, and definitely, you know, I agree with that. I wish that we could see more of that. I think this last year was there one lady who rode rough stock? I'm trying to remember which rodeo it was at. I think they're running one lady, and that was it. But absolutely, I don't see anything wrong with it at all.
Right. I mean, and it's true. I mean, there's that. Okay. I'm gonna be a little different here. I'm not a big fan of women in rough stock. I mean,
all right.
And here come the unlikes of the video portion. This might get me my first dislike on YouTube when it goes on YouTube. I'm the opposite. I'm not a fan of women riding bulls or bucking horses. It's the same reason that we get we don't have women playing football very often. I mean, we had the kicker at Vanderbilt, you know, that kicked at a D1 school just the other day, and that's cool and all, but I mean, I think there's just some physical differences that make it harder for women to succeed. And I'm not saying they can't. I mean, not at all. I'm 5'8" and 240 pounds. I can't go ride a barrel horse. So, you know, I mean, unless the barrel horse is a really fast Percheron or something, I mean, I'm not going to ride a barrel horse. I'm not built to ride a barrel horse, you know, and I don't, you know, it's different. And that's all I'm getting at type deals, you know, on the rough stock. I mean, I'm not saying there ain't a place for it. I don't think there's a place for it in professional rodeo. So,
yeah.
And like I said, here, you know, I'm probably going to get the hate mail now. People are tuning out. I'm sorry. It's just how I look at it. So,
yeah. Well, I've seen a lot of women ride some horses that definitely I don't think I could hang on to. That's for sure, though.
Right,
I mean,
and
you know, I was reading.
Not taking anything away from them.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, you know, once again, you'll see some, but not. It's a number that we really haven't seen a lot of, at least locally, anyhow. Women riding the rough stock. I don't know. Is there anybody in the PRCA that's riding rough stock that's a lady?
Not that I know of. I didn't, and I'm not sure how all that works with the way the PRCA works with, you know, I mean, usually the women that enter pro rodeos, they enter under the WPRA banner. See, pro rodeos are co-sanctioned with the WPRA, the Women's Professional Rodeo Association.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm not sure how all that works. I mean, I think you really risk. I'm not going to dip into something that I really don't know about. But you know, I mean, but no, and that's my whole point is, like I said, I'm not trying to be sexist or anything. I don't recommend, unless a girl starts out as a young age and starts riding rough stock, you know, I'm not opposed to it, but I mean, it's just like anything. I think that, you know, I think it's a whole different ball game. And I'm not saying they ain't out there. I'm just saying you know, the ones I've seen do it go out and crash and burn, you know, and I, you know, and And like I said, I'm probably a little. That's like I said, I'm probably going to get in a lot of trouble for saying all this, but I apologize.
Well, looks
I'm
like
really,
Kevin's found a person here. Kayla, is it
yeah.
Muscle, Saddle
No,
Bronc rider?
like I said, they're out there, but like I said, you know, they need to start at a young age. I mean, I know there's a girl from around Peculiar Raymore area that's getting on some been getting on some junior bulls and everything. So
Mhm.
that's cool and everything. And Anthony Spurgeon made a remark. Anthony from Adrian. Yeah, I'm not going there. We're just gonna let that go. so so
Well, I
that's
think definitely it goes with both sexes, though, where with the rest stock, it helps when you do get on at a younger age.
yes.
You get some of the older guys to jump on. I mean, a
Right.
lot of it goes back down to your background, your training, how athletic you are. And I think that's where like a lot of women are proving right now that they can be just as athletic as a male. And they can get the job done. But like you said, it all comes back down to your training.
I mean, and I think that's a lot of it. I mean, like I said, if a woman wants, I don't think women shouldn't. I'm not saying they shouldn't be allowed to. I don't think we can have just a women's bull riding. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't. I mean, I think, I think you kind of got to watch what you're doing as far as this pro sports. It's not, and if a woman wants to enter the saddle bronc riding at a rodeo, I'm all for it. Let them do it. But and I guess what I'm getting at is I don't. I mean, I'm not saying people wouldn't like it. I'm sure there's some people that would. The same people that want to come watch 8 hours of rodeo at New Year's. They want to come watch all the slack and then the performance that night. So, I mean, it's I'm not. And like I said, I kind of probably misspoke a little bit earlier, but no, I mean, no, but I think it's cool though that we're seeing. My whole point is breakaway roping is finally here. It's another avenue, and it's giving girls a chance to showcase their abilities, and it's 100% deserved.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think,
Absolutely.
but it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's what I was getting at. It's a pretty cool deal, But it's like, I'm looking up right now. The Wrangler National Finals breakaway rope and payoff total was $200,000. I mean, and that's not right. I mean, I mean that's a lot of money, but you compare it to what it paid, what the other events paid and at the NFR. I mean, that's I think that's chump change compared to what the other contestants were making. I mean, it only paid $4,000 to win a round. So
yeah,
so that's what I'm. I mean, it paid 14,000, for a total payout of of each round. Where to win one round in the calf tie down roping or the steer wrestling, it paid 27,000 at the regular NFR. So I think there's still a long ways to go for pro rodeo, but I do think these girls they need to be right there in the same deal. They need to be in the same amount, and and I don't think it's fair to them, but it's coming. And
yeah.
get ready because it's all but here.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I'll put my little tablet away there. I had to plug it in. I didn't do a very good job. I actually thought it was, I didn't because I was gone yesterday. Moving on as we're kind of we're starting to run out of time. Time goes fast when we're having fun.
Absolutely.
Us, we like to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning Super Bowl champions.
Chiefs.
They won today 17-14 over the Falcons. Patty Mahomes didn't have quite the game.
No, Patty Cakes was struggling a little bit today.
2 touchdowns, 1 interception. You could argue he should have had 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the that's kind of not. I mean, I don't know. Do you play him next week against the Chargers?
I think you got to go out there and play him at least the first half. I think you got the first half, keep your game plan together like you always have. And if we're up substantially, then we can kind of mix in some guys. The good thing about football is you can substitute freely, so you don't have to worry about starting him, taking him out, and you can't put him back in.
Right.
I think you play him first half. We get the lead, yank him out, save some bodies, and away we roll.
And I'm kind of with you. I say go out there with the vanilla game plan on the offense. Let Kelsey get his yards. Let him try to win his get the receiving title for all the National Football League, not just the
Correct.
receivers and or the tight ends. And I say pull them guys like you said. I mean, I say if they have a good two drives, let them go in there. If they play good the first two drives, pull them. I mean, but let them get some
Yeah.
rhythm and
Yeah.
don't go do a bunch of fancy stuff because they're going to have a few weeks. It's like I was listening to Kevin Keatsman earlier and his recap. He mentioned if you set them the whole game, they're 21 days without playing. And
Hmm.
it's like we talk about rodeo. It's practice, 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 and repetition. And there's only in rodeo and football, I say this is another similarity, and this is kind of what this whole show is, just kind of combining similarities of rodeo and other sports. I guess what I'm getting at is there you can't simulate a rodeo. The only way to simulate a rodeo is a rodeo, and it's the same thing with football or baseball. You can't simulate a game. The only way you can experience a game or a rodeo is at a rodeo or a game, and I think
Hmm.
I do think that they need to go ahead and play them, especially if I don't know how bad their center got hurt. Was his name Austin
Yeah, I
Ryder?
haven't heard yet.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
haven't heard that either. So if he's not going to play, I mean, I think you need to let him and the backup play some game snaps next week and finish up strong and try to be 15-1. I think
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I mean, and
absolutely.
Chiefs can do it with their backups. I do believe. I mean, and that's kind of the cool thing about it.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
good stuff.
as we close it out today, Tex, you got any final thoughts in the year 2020?
Oh man, I do. I just I can't it can't get here quick enough for it to get out the door. So, you know, I read today though that you get 2021. So if you break it down, 2021 WON, get it?
Hmm.
How's that
Hmm.
for a thinker?
Hey,
So
that is the power of positive thinking right there.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's what I'm
that is
all about up here. That's what goes on in this little cranium here.
right.
So no, I think that 2020 has been an interesting year. I hope I never have to repeat another year like this ever in my life. Who would have thought that in the United States of America we'd be
Mhm.
dealing with a pandemic, of something of this matter and this magnitude.
Right.
So, definitely my prayers and thoughts go out to anybody who's been affected, by COVID or their family members. And, hang in there. 2021 is going to be a better year. We know it will be. And like I said, it just can't get here quick enough. I can't wait for that ball to drop out there in New York and we can celebrate 2021
Right.
and get back to a new level of normalcy for us.
Yes. And I agree. I mean, it's just I think there's going to be a lot of changes this next year. I mean,
Hmm.
like it or not, I think there's going to be a lot of changes. And I think the thing I learned this year is don't take anything for granted and always have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Of I mean, you better I think that's the biggest thing is we can't all always plan on everything that might happen, or we can take different steps to do it, but I really and I think that's the biggest deal is you get better have a backup plan. You better have something to fall back on
Hmm.
because something can be all gone tomorrow, and that's probably the thing I realized. I took a lot of stuff for granted before everything started happening back in March. I never
Yeah.
once in my mind would have thought we'd have been in a situation where it was like something out of the movies,
Yeah.
and that's that's something that I realized, and I think the other thing is too. I think we've kind of realized as well that um, in a way we're all essential. We kind of got talking about
Hmm.
everybody was gotten to be are you an essential worker? Or are you not essential worker? You know, I was thinking today. I went out to eat on the plaza today, and Sandy and I did downtown. It made me think, that waiter, I mean, these people had a tough year that work in the service industry, and I think it kind of makes, and I'm going to kind of rant a little bit. I like to do that. It makes me mad when people think that people aren't essential.
Hmm.
And I think that's something I learned in 2020 is, that waiter, he helps people, and I think it helps people, and I understand they got their job. That's their job. But I guess what I'm getting at is, you know, that waiter might brighten somebody's day by being a nice guy and being personable or a nice lady. And it's little things like that, I think, that we kind of lost track of this year. And, and the whole social distancing thing and everything. And I understand that, but I don't think it does any good to, I think at some point we can't lock ourselves in our houses all the time and absolutely not have any interaction with anybody. And, that waiter may brighten somebody's day by being nice to them, or that cashier at Quick Trip, who might make a joke one day, might just change the tide of something. What I'm saying. And I don't care what kind of job they're doing. I think we're all essential in a certain way. It's just like the rodeo at Cassville, Missouri this year. People say, well, rodeo is not essential. Yeah, it is. Rodeo, that rodeo there's raised over, I think, tens of thousands of dollars for the FFA chapter. So you're helping young people out. I mean, no matter what you do, you're helping somebody else get somewhere that they may not be before. And that's something I learned in 2020. I mean, no, granted, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be precautions made and anything like that. And that we've talked about that privately and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I just, I think we all have to realize, there's a place for everything. And, I think, we have to remain positive and be there for each other. And to say that we're really all in this together, we have to I think people need to accept the fact we are all essential in one way or the other. And I think that's the biggest thing I learned in 2020. Have a backup plan and remember we're all essential, no matter how you want to look at it, to either in professionally or personally. And whatever action you may do to somebody else is going to have an effect one way or the other. And remember that. And that's kind of my thought on 2020.
Well, I think moving into 2021, like you said, there's going to be a lot of changes that are going to happen, and it's okay to have changes. And we know that the root to anxiety is the unknown. So we know that going into 2021 is going to look different, and that's okay. We've been struggling with different now for 10 months.
Right.
But it's going to be a better kind of different, and there's going to be some inconveniences that are going to be placed on us in 2021, and that doesn't mean it's a bad thing either. So I think the worst is over with, and like you said, every one of us is an essential human being.
Yes.
Every one of us is essential to somebody,
right?
And we don't need to ever forget that. No matter how tough things are, we are important as individuals to ourselves, but also to other people out there.
Right. And that's the biggest thing that I'm looking, that I'm look back on and that we realize. And we're all flawed in a way, but we all got gifts as well. And and every day is a gift, and what we can do is to help somebody else, or get along with somebody, or make somebody smile or laugh. Or if I get one laughy emoji at a video I make or a post I put on Facebook, that makes I'm good. I mean, because that's healthy. Yeah. That's what we need. And sometimes I'm a little lighthearted. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I make sarcastic remarks. It gets blown way out of proportion. It happens. And I try to be a breath of fresh air. So I love fresh air. I miss fresh air.
Yes, fresh air is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So next week, I'd like to, I don't know about you, we're gonna probably look at I'd like to take a look at the Texas Circuit Finals Rodeo, and we'll try to follow that next week. Again, you can find that on the Cowboy Channel Plus app, and I believe they'll probably be showing it on the Cowboy Channel as well. So I'd be sure to check all that out. Again, if you support rodeo, go follow Ride Pass, go follow Cowboy Channel Plus. Make sure you got the Cowboy Channel on your cable plan. And the more you do that, the more you support the sport of rodeo. And that's what we really encourage here is, we want to kind of, I'm not really, it's, we've talked about doing interviews, and I want to do interviews and everything like that, but I don't want to get just in an interview show. This is an opinion show. So, again, like and subscribe to the Charlie McKellips YouTube channel. And who knows, maybe we'll have a Sports Talk Rodeo YouTube channel later, but let's get it on Charlie McKellips YouTube channel first. And I'll put more, and then the more we get people following, the more I'll put stuff on YouTube as well. So that's a big deal. So be sure to like, subscribe, and push that alert button. That way you can follow it on YouTube channel. This video as well is also on my business page, the Charlie McKellips personality page. So be sure to go like it too as well. I mean, and I'll do more. The more people that get liking it, the more people that follow it, I'll probably do more on that too. So, but yeah, next week, and then we'll kind of do like a 21 preview. Like, what do we think is going to happen in 2021 next week? As the show on the air in 2021. So we bring in the new year, which would be really different, not being at the American Royal Complex, because that wasn't in the works. So that wasn't the plans this year. Again, it's 2020. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens. We'll see kind of what the Chiefs playoff picture looks like next week, because I like football. Not everybody does, but I do. And so we talk about it. I like sports, and I don't know, when do pitchers and catchers report? That'll be coming up another.
Yeah, it'll be in February. So it's coming up, man.
We're getting closer. Pitchers and catchers getting closer. NBA's in preseason. I don't care about that because we don't have an NBA team in Kansas City. And and then somebody told me at Rally House today on the plaza that soccer, I need to be following soccer because Sporty KC is good. So all sports. I'm a sports fan. I know you are, and I just want people to look at rodeo the same way and enjoy it. Is like I said, it's all a privilege. It's not really a right. So it's pretty cool. So, anyways, I hope you have a good New Year, Tex, and we'll see you next Sunday.
You too, buddy.
This has been
episode
number 2 of Sports Talk Rodeo.